Hi, welcome to another Power Blast podcast. Want to hear a great story, a great success story from Hammer and Chisel? Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Perry Tinsley here, creator of the Power Blast podcast, owner of PutYourselfFirst.com, and founder of Team Power Blast. You know what? I've been doing an interview with so many people getting awesome, crazy awesome results from Hammer and Chisel. They've been in our Facebook group doing the program, and I want them to share their story instead of me sharing their story. So first up here, Jessica Eggleston. I'm going to jump over. I did a little video recording with her, and I want her to share her story. Let's jump over to it. All right, hey everyone. I've got Jessica Eggleston on the call here or the podcast, and so excited. Jessica was in our Masters Hammer and Chisel test group or our kind of our challenge group that we did right when the program came out, and so many of us were really excited about it. And I was hoping to, Jessica, welcome first of all.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
All right, cool. So what was your experience with this program? Because it absolutely rocked. You got great results, and I just want you to just share your story. What all went on with it? What did you learn? What did you love about it? Things like that.
All right. Well, there's so much to love about Hammer and Chisel. It's different from anything I had ever done before. I've done plenty of other Beachbody workouts. I run half marathons. There's a lot that I do fitness-wise, but I had never done something that was so weights-oriented. Everything I'd done had incorporated weights, but nothing that was this heavy, this much lifting. And so that was a different experience for me. Also, the amount of food that I ate, because my goals were to gain muscle, and that was very different for me. When I first started doing these workouts about a year and a half or more ago, I wanted to lose weight. That was always my goal: lose weight, and then to maintain. So to eat in order to put on was such a different way of thinking for me. It was so unlike anything I'd ever done, and to think about even being at a point where that would be something I was trying to do, after working so hard to lose weight, to be thinking about putting weight on and eating that much. The first couple of days looking at my containers and how much I was supposed to eat in order to gain muscle, I was wondering, how in the world am I going to eat all this food? But after about 3 or 4 days in, I was so hungry all the time that I was like, oh, this is how I'm going to eat all this food, because I want to eat all this food, just from constantly burning calories from working so hard. Even in, the 20 to 35 minute workouts, you are working so hard with, the weightlifting, and, even with the cardio that incorporates weights, there's always, kind of that resistance training. So that was just a different way of looking at my own fitness goals, of looking at food and approaching, needing to have the strength to do the weights was just different. And even in that, one of the biggest triumphs I had was moving weights up for what I needed to do. Previous to this, my my easy weights were 5 and my heavies were 10, and I very quickly switched from 10 to 15, 10 being light and 15 being heavy. And after about a couple weeks, I realized I needed heavier weights. I wasn't getting a good enough workout. And so that was a little nuts to me, that I had progressed that much in such a short amount of time with these workouts. And, that was just so gratifying to see results that quickly. Just to see the results from putting in that work is just very, very gratifying. So that was, that's kind of just what springs to mind.
Yeah.
First,
How did you decide? Okay, because when you do Masters Hammer and Chisel, you've got some decisions that you can make in the approach you want to take it to eating. The calendar is pretty much straightforward. There isn't a whole lot of varieties with it.
Yeah.
There's so much variety within the workouts that the calendar, it doesn't change from your goals. The eating plan does. How did you decide, this is the plan I'm going to do? I know that you've done running and everything in the past. How did you decide to put on muscle?
Well, I'd been thinking about it, and I asked my husband what he thought, and he sort of jokingly told me that if I was eating to get lean, there was nothing to there was nothing left to go. So he was, half joking, but, he's kind of right. I had lost, a lot of weight since I started, and I just thought, this would just be something good to try to see, and just to get stronger seemed like a good idea. So, I mean, you would get stronger either way. That's not quite what I mean, but, I wanted to try something new and try, kind of the more, I guess, bodybuilding aspect of it, just because I'd never done it before. So it seemed like a fun little adventure, and it turned out to be a great one. So it's kind of how I made that decision.
So how was what were your results? What ended up happening, or what did you discover about yourself here?
What I discovered, those are two really good questions. Results, number-wise, were good. I definitely gained muscle. I put on inches, which is not usually something you'd probably hear a woman say is, yes, I put on inches, but I did, and I was so excited because it was all muscle, especially in my arms, which I have always had a hard time, getting more defined, as a runner. Like, obviously, my legs are always strong. I always think of them as strong, but to have definition in my arms was really great, and I teach high school for a living. I have small kids. So I almost felt like a superhero, kind of with this alter ego of, lifting weights and, getting these guns it was just fun, to, post a flex picture and have my students see it and be like, oh my gosh, Mrs. Egg, that's so awesome. Or have my kids see and want to work out with me. That was just really cool that they would see, the commitment that I had made, and they would want to do pull-ups too. So I'd be holding my kids up to do pull-ups. So that was just fun. I have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old. And so for them to want to participate and do that with me was just really neat. What I discovered about myself was just the strength, like not just physical, but to come home from a long day at work, and I teach 3 days a week, and I homeschool my first grader, and I have a 2-year-old who is very much 2-year-old, but to take the time and to make that commitment and get it done, take that time and do it, just to have the mental discipline, when I get home and I'm tired and it's been a long day, and to still do it, to get my weights out, push play, and just do it. Just the feeling at the end of I lifted that and I finished that rep and I did those Bulgarian split squats was just, I did it. It's just such a strong feeling, just mentally and physically. And so, it just tapped into something I didn't know I had of being able to lift that much and to make that kind of commitment. And yeah, it was just good. It was exciting.
So you were part of a challenge group, and
yes.
any thoughts on being a part of that and how that worked for you?
Being a part of a challenge group was so amazing because, when I joined BEACHBODY, kind of the BEACHBODY family, I signed up as a coach, and so I was helping run things, or I'd be kind of a fly on the wall in a challenge group. I had never fully participated in one, just as doing the workouts and kind of being on that side of things, and it was so encouraging. There's some people that I bonded with in the group. I've never met them, but they're my friends, and I love that aspect of, kind of just getting to be a kindred spirit with some of the people in there. There's this whole bond because you're all doing these workouts and cheering each other on, but I kind of found a couple people that were just had kind of similar circumstances or on the same wavelength, and, to see them check in and, they've worked out already. I need to make sure that I get it done, and, to have that encouragement and people checking in and, way to go. And, it's all honest. It all feels so honest in there. And people come in and are saying, it's really struggling. And then, 10 minutes later, all these people are, you can do it. You got this. I got your back. It's going to be okay. Just get it done. And, just that atmosphere of encouragement was just amazing to be a part of. And it's so motivating to know if I don't post today, people are going to ask where I was, and so anytime there was maybe I can postpone it. Well, no, because I'm going to have all these people, where were you? Are you okay? And all that stuff. And so being part of that community just went so far in helping me to stay enthusiastic. I think if it was just me, regardless of how much I loved it, it would have been hard. If it was just me keeping myself accountable to push that play button, it's just different when you have all these people cheering for you and you're cheering for them. It's just such a great experience.
Yeah, very cool. I agree. Well, for anybody that's out there considering hammer and chisel, and for those people that are considering, you want to make sure you kind of have at least a base knowledge of exercise and fitness, that you've done something before, not necessarily a beginner program. But Jessica, any thoughts for somebody that might be considering trying this program out?
I would agree. That's definitely for if you have already been working out. It's definitely not a beginner program, but it is amazing for, if you're in a rut, if you want to gain muscle, if you're just looking for something especially challenging, to something different, I would highly recommend trying this, because I think that, you'd surprise yourself.
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on Power Blast and sharing your story. It's really, really
You're
awesome
welcome.
to have you here. And congratulations on those results. What's next? Are you doing another round?
I am combining doing another round with training for another half marathon in April. So I'm kind of doing a little hybrid. And then after I'm done with my next race, I'll probably go back to doing another full round.
Awesome. Jessica, you
So,
absolutely rock. Thanks for coming on.
you're
And
welcome.
hey, we'll see you in the next challenge group, okay?
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, you know what? You need to consider doing hammer and chisel. Amazing transformational program will break you past any plateaus. You're welcome to join our group. I so appreciate you subscribing. You know what? If you found this valuable, pass it on to somebody else, or share it, or comment, even if you want to respond and email me with any questions, please do. Remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.